I'm very excited and lucky to get to introduce Stacy and Bridget from the Broadmoor, who are going to share a little bit of information about the Broadmoor, about opportunities, and even more importantly, skills that really can translate to whatever career goals that you may have. So, Stacy and Bridget, please take it away.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having us today. We are excited to be talking to all of you, and really this is a chance for us to have a conversation. The goal today is to share a little bit with you about our beautiful home here at the Broadmoor and talk to you about the hotel itself, about our world-class team. But really we want to focus on hospitality and the career in hospitality, but how the skills that make you successful in this business also apply to other careers as well as to life in general. So what we'd like to do is just take you through a brief presentation. We'll tell you some history. We'll talk about the core skills that make us successful. And then we'll talk about how to achieve those skills yourself. And we hope that you will enjoy the conversation that we have. So first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Stacy Vadine, and I am the Director of Training here at the hotel. I have been in the hospitality business now for, I'm embarrassed to say, just about 36 years. I started very young, but I didn't go to school. I didn't plan on a career in hospitality. I sort of found my way to it, which is the case of most people in our business. I went to school for broadcast journalism. And I was going to be a broadcast journalist. I was going to be on TV saying, this is Stacy Vadine reporting live from the Broadmoor. And I went to school for that. I focused on it, but I needed to work through college. And I went to school in Southern California. So I traveled south down the highway to a beautiful place where I ended up working for a mouse. My first job was at Disneyland in the hospitality industry. And I learned some valuable lessons there. But one thing I learned was the power of hospitality. You see, there's in this industry and in this world, there's a difference between hospitality and customer service. They're two very different things, but one cannot exist to be successful without the other. So customer service, we all know that. It's if you go to a store, let's say you're hungry, you want lunch, you go to a restaurant, you order food, you get served that food, your need is met, service has been provided. Hospitality is how you feel when that service is being provided. And at Disney, I was exposed to that. And I found my way and navigated creating memories and dreams with people while getting paid for it, which was pretty amazing. But I progressed through there and I worked at Disneyland as a tour guide, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment, but then I went to work for a large company called Marriott, and I worked for Marriott International for 26 years. And again, was just getting my feet wet. I was a sales marketing, still using my training in broadcasting. But I found that I got to do all the things that I loved under the umbrella of this industry. I worked for Marriott, as I said, for 26 years, and it included sales, marketing, rooms operations, human resources, and I spent many years actually working with students just like you. I ran the university relations programs for Marriott and the internships and college, the management development program after you graduated from college. And then when I left there, I was fully immersed into this industry, and I worked for a company called Forbes Travel Guide. And Forbes Travel Guide is the authority of all that is luxury. And I had the best role ever. I was the secret guest who traveled all over the world, evaluating hotels, restaurants, spas on their service levels. And through that time, I found and built a wonderful relationship with the Broadmoor, because the Broadmoor has a unique distinction. It is a luxury resort. It has been around for 103 years. but it is the longest standing 5-star hotel in the world, holding that title for 61 consecutive years. Forbes Travel Guide's only been around for 63 years. So the transition from Forbes Travel Guide, where I was an evaluator and then a trainer, to become the director of training here has been a wonderful journey. I guess what I'd like to say about that story is we all have the greatest plans on what we're going to do in our career. And I still get to do what I love. And I've changed my career process several times, but all under the guise of one industry. And I've traveled the world doing that. So you may start somewhere and have a plan, but as long as you continue to build the skills and the tools to be successful, your career can pivot and swivel in many different directions until you find what place that you call home. And that's what I call the Broadmoor. Sitting next to me is, and I'd like to introduce Bridget German. And Bridget, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd love to. Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget German, and I am the HR manager here at the hotel. Like Stacy, I actually had a little bit of a different track. I graduated with a degree in human resources management from the University of Iowa about 5 years ago now. Hard to believe. Time has flown by. But I started my career in the ski industry up in Vail, working in human resources, and just really grew to love the hospitality and tourism industry, and found my way here in Colorado Springs about a year ago and found the Broadmoor, and I have just fallen in love with the property and with the employees and the guests and everything that we provide to our guests, but also to our guests, which are our employees. So we are very excited to be here today to share a little bit about life at the Broadmoor and what it's like to be part of what we call the Broadmoor family, because that truly is what we are here. We are a family, we take care of one another, and we have fun while doing it. So without further ado, Stacy, take it away.
Thank you. Well, as we talk about the Broadmoor family, the family goes back many years. And the interesting thing about the family that we currently have, we have people that have been here as long as we have a lovely woman who is in our laundry department who just about a month ago celebrated her 63rd anniversary at the Broadmoor. It's the only job she's ever had. Her daughter also worked here for 40 years, and she calls her the short timer. But we have a host in our grill that has been here 50 years. Heidi has become a part of the membership and the grill family. But then we also have people that have worked here and they work summers or they work seasonally. They come in and they're on call. There's just something to be said about being a member of this team. And it literally goes back to the vision of our founder. So let me take a few moments and just give you a brief history of the hotel. Because many of you know, you're not far, you're literally in our backyard. We tend to be we don't tend to be, we are one of the largest employers in the Colorado Springs area. And we have been, this June will celebrate our 103rd birthday. But it all started with the vision of one man, Spencer Penrose. And perhaps you know that name because the Penrose name is all over Colorado Springs. But we talk about this as one man, one eye, one vision. And that's because Spencer Penrose only had one eye. He went to Harvard University. He was graduated last in his class. However, his two brothers graduated very high in their classes. One became a politician and the other was a physician. But Spencer enjoyed going to school and he enjoyed people. He enjoyed getting to know others and understanding what made them tick. He was a part of the rowing team and unfortunately had a rowing accident. Hence, he lost his eye. And that never stopped him. It was never considered anything that was a barrier. In fact, he had a glass eye. Actually, he had two. He had one that was clear for the days that he had clear vision, and there was one that was bloodshot when he enjoyed his time with his guests. He came to Colorado Springs in construction and made his money in the mining industry. When he got to here, he had worked in construction in all the areas surrounding Colorado as well. And to buy into the mine that he was working at, he needed $10,000. And he reached back to his siblings and to his parents and said, I need to borrow this $10,000. And they sent him $150 and a train ticket back to the East Coast and said, you're foolish, come home. Well, he took that $150 and he used it as collateral to get a loan. And he bought into that mine and became a multimillionaire. Story says he sent that $9,850 back to his brother and said, thank you very much for the loan. Now, he made his fortune, but he always loved hospitality. He met his wife, Julie Penrose, and they traveled the world together. But when they came back, when they decided to settle, they came back to Colorado Springs and wanted to get into the hospitality business. They built the Broadmoor Hotel back in 1919 is when it opened. 1918 is when they built it, 1919. And they opened the hotel with fanfare. Now, this is where the vision starts. Spencer Penrose was not the business mind, the financial mind, but he was a marketing genius. And when they opened the Broadmoor, he invited the top hoteliers from all over the world, or excuse me, all over the country. And he threw a large gala. And these top hoteliers came in their planes, on their trains. They had biplane races. They had a race up Pikes Peak in their cars. They played polo, they played golf. But the combined wealth of those hoteliers from across the country at the time of 1918 was estimated over $100 million. And it started the $100 Million Club. Those hoteliers went back and shared the experience that they had. And the marketing was instant across the nation. So his vision was to create the most exceptional experience that one could have in a hotel. Now, in 1918, you'll see in this picture, that's what a room looked like in 1918 and what the hotel looked like when we opened. That room at the time went for $14. Amazing. $14 is what we spend on a coffee now.
Right.
That vision was carried through in our almost 103 years that we have been in existence. We've only had 3 private owners. Those 3 owners started with the Penrose family, and then the Gaylord family of the Gaylord Hotels of the Grand Ole Opry and of the entertainment business purchased the hotel and invested quite a bit of money in expanding the hotel. And then just about 12 years ago, it was purchased by the Anschutz family. And the Anschutz family brought something very unique to us. They not only invested their time and their experience, but they invested in our wilderness experiences. So while we have a very large resort, all of our properties combined sit over approximately 3,000 acres. And this includes our cloud camp on the top of Cheyenne Mountain, our Emerald Valley Ranch, our wilderness ranch, includes the 7 Falls, our fly fishing camp on the Terry River, and now it includes our Cobb Railway, which will open again on May 1st. It's been closed for 3 years, but it will be celebrating its 130th birthday this year. This gives you a little bit about the background of our hotel, but the things that you would see now, that's our 100-year history. The things that you would see now if you joined or came to visit the Broadmoor is at the hotel itself, 784 guest rooms. We have 18 lounges and restaurants. We have a 5-star spa. We have 2 championship golf courses, 5 tennis courts, 3 pickleball courts. We have 21 shops in what we call Retail Alley. Many of them are run by the Broadmoor themselves, and some are consigned to vendors. Our 3 wilderness camps, as I mentioned, would be Cloud Camp, Emerald Valley Ranch, and our fly fishing camp. We have our Broadmoor Outfitters, which is if any of you have had the opportunity to go zip lining, it's our soaring adventure. And then we have our attractions, 7 Falls, our Cobb Railway, and the Soaring Adventure itself. So we have all sorts of different entities. And the reason why I point this out, and I'm going to get back to this, is because I mentioned in the very beginning, what we are known for is our service. But our service isn't unique to the Broadmoor to hospitality. In order to be successful in all of these areas, it's simple human kindness and the way we connect with others that creates the long-standing relationships that we have and makes us successful in the Colorado Springs area. I want to show you a little bit about some of our locations, but really to tell you what makes us unique and what makes us beautiful is what our rooms look like now. So I showed you the one for $14. This one costs a little bit more per night. But our classic style always ventures back to the days when Spencer Penrose built this resort. It's all about the comfortable luxury that we provide. But the hotel rooms, the bar and lounge, oh, I mentioned the $100 million club. In this photo to your left, you will see actually the banquet of the $100 million club. If you look to the mural on the right in our hotel lounge, this one a little bit harder to see, so you need to come by and look for it yourself, shows the activities that were experienced during the $100 million club galas. As I mentioned, there is the road race that climbs Pikes Peak, which still is in existence today, but it was the Penrose family that built the roads to go up to the top of Pikes Peak. They flew their biplanes and raced them around Colorado Springs. They played golf. Now, Spencer Penrose, and if you can see in that picture, loved animals, loved them. So there were animals all over the property. And I don't mean dogs and cats that you see today. There were elephants and camels. There were seals in our lake. There were monkeys all over the property. In fact, on the golf course, when the Spencer would have his guests at the hotel, it was quite often that his elephant was his caddy. Now, the elephants one day escaped the property and ruined the gardens of many of our neighbors. So the city said, you must remove them and put them somewhere safe. And so the beginning of the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo was built. And that's where the collection was moved to. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo is still in existence today and has the largest collection of giraffes where you can feed them. But it is a stunning tribute to what the Broadmoor began with the animals on the property. Now, we are an animal-friendly property, so you'll see dogs and cats all the time. No elephants, though. You'll also see we have our lake, which is Cheyenne Mountain Lake. It is a man-made lake in the center of the property. It was not built by Spencer Penrose. It was actually built by Count Portalis, who was here in the late 1800s. It is a man-made lake, so it will never freeze over. There is currently, for any of you who have been to the Broadmoor, you're familiar with the bridge that crosses the lake. Before that bridge was built, the only way to make it across the lake was either to water ski or paddle boat. So I think our guests are much happier with the bridge. This picture is of our Restaurante del Lago. It's one of our many restaurants on property. This is a unique restaurant in that it is an authentic Italian restaurant with our chefs being trained in Italy. It is also where all of our products are either locally grown or they are imported from Italy. So the Italian experience is very unique. Our Golden Bee is another one of our dining outlets. And it is very unique in the fact that it is a British pub that literally was brought over from England. So the bar itself, the British pub, the bar was dismantled, brought on container ships from Britain to New York where it sat. And then it was moved from New York to the Broadmoor where it was reassembled. This is a very unique and very family-friendly dining experience. If any of you have been there, you know you walk away with a little bit of the bee on your lapel. But from all of our dining experiences, we go from the casual to our play restaurant that has a bowling alley and is known for its adult milkshakes, to the Golden Bee, where we have live music, and we're looking forward to bringing that back after the COVID restrictions, to our finest dining in our Penrose Room, which is the only 5-star 5-diamond restaurant in Colorado. For any of you who have ever worked in the food and beverage industry, you know it's unique, and it's every day is different based on the guests that come in. But when you see the wide array of our experiences, I think you'll understand that you can hone skills that you can take to anywhere once you move, you stay at the Broadmoor, you move forward. We mentioned we have 2 championship golf courses. They are actually opening this week, which we are very excited. We don't not only have our guests that play on our courses, but we actually have members as well. And our grill restaurant that I mentioned earlier is only open to our guests and to our members, where the remaining food and beverage outlets are open to the public as well. Now, this is where we get unique with our wilderness properties. This is actually Cloud Camp. And if you look up at Cheyenne Mountain, you will see a few things that are indicative of the Penrose family. One is Cloud Camp, and it is just between the Shrine to Will Rogers and the NORAD. This is a unique experience where you can come and experience the Broadmoor hospitality, but truly get away from it all. This has a unique accommodation of 26 rooms. It is inclusive, where you can experience hiking, disc golf, we have mule rides, we have a little bit of everything there. But the experience is stunning, and those views are just unbelievable. I mentioned our fly fishing camp. This is on the Terry River, and we actually have the rights to a section of the river, so it's only our guests that are fishing. We have fly fishing instructors and excursions. The Cloud Camp, the fly fishing camp, and this is our Emerald Valley Ranch. These are all seasonal positions. So we will be opening in April, and we will close down in the fall. Of course, we need to, because we can't get to the top of Cloud Camp unless the weather cooperates. The point is being that we share this because our opportunities are not just typical of a hotel. When you think about an opportunity of a hotel, I think about the front desk. I think about serving in a restaurant. I think about housekeeping. But our opportunities really go across the board when it comes to taking care of these properties, whether it be horticulture, working on our golf course as a starter, or working at Cloud Camp as a ranger. The opportunities are vast, and in all of these opportunities, you gain the experience that you can carry through a lifetime. This will be our newest opportunity, opening on May 1st. It is the Cobb Railway. I wish I could see to ask if anybody has actually climbed the incline. I look at the stairs and think I'm waiting for the train to arrive, so it will take me to the top of Pikes Peak. As I mentioned, this will celebrate its 130th anniversary. We've just laid 9 new miles of track and created a new depot experience. But this is a wonderful way to experience Colorado Springs and the Manitou Springs area by getting to the top of Pikes Peak and seeing the views that are just stunning. Now, you've seen who we are as a property, but let me tell you about who we are as people. This picture that you see is Mr. Stephen Bartolin, and he is actually the president of the Broadmoor and Sea Island Company. Now, we have a sister property. It is also owned by the Anschutz family. It is in Sea Island, Georgia. It is also a 5-star location with their Cloister Hotel, their lodge at Sea Island, and their inn. Their spa, their golf courses, their Davis Love golf courses are just stunning. But when you think about what makes us successful, we have beautiful real estate. We do. But really, it all starts with those that work with us. It's the business will always be successful if the employees allow it to be. And so I want you to think about that and about the people, the legendary teams that work here. Now, I mentioned to you that I worked for Disney. And I talked to you about the difference between hospitality and customer service. When I worked for Disney, I was a tour guide. So I got paid to go on the attractions. I have had great roles. I get paid to travel. But in order to be a tour guide, I had to memorize a 17-page script. Now, I equate that 17-page script to any job that you have. It is your sequence of service. It is your instruction, your standard operating procedure. My script just happened to be how I would guide 25 to 30 of my new best friends throughout the Magic Kingdom while waiting in line with them over 5 to 6 hours during the summer. Now that script, in order to be that tour guide, I had to recite that script word for word, cold, standing in an office, just like you would if you were memorizing a script to be in a movie. And I did that. I memorized it the night before. And then I stood there and I recited 17 pages cold. Once I did, they said, "Wonderful, Stacy. Now, why don't you go and give a guided tour?" So imagine I had memorized a script. I stood in front of 25 to 30 of my new best friends. And I started with, "Hello, my name is Stacy, and I'll be your guide today through the 7 lands of Disneyland. If you have any questions or would like me to speak faster or slower, louder or softer, I want to make sure this is a magical experience for each of you." And I did that, and I stopped where I was supposed to. At the end of the tour, my guests had received customer service. They knew how to navigate their way through the park. They had gone on 6 attractions. They knew the facts that I had shared with them, which is what they paid for. But the experience really wasn't any different than if I had handed them a guidebook and my script. But I had to get used to that. I had to understand, and you have to, no matter what role you're in, whether it be in accounting, as an accountant in a bank, you have to learn the processes and the procedures to enable you to take care of the guest, or it be as a lawyer, you have to understand the processes and the laws so that you can implement them. No matter what you do, you have to learn the role that you will play. But where it becomes more than just a job is when you internalize it and you make it something that you can present and something that you can provide. So I practiced and I honed these skills over and over and over. But I still was reading a script and I was not engaging with my guests. I was providing service. Until one day, I was in It's a Small World. And for any of you that have been to Disney, I wrote It's a Small World every single day. Every day I heard that song. And I would just zone it out. I knew what I had to do next. I knew the sequence of my service and I would provide that experience. But it was one day that I was writing the attraction and I knew we were coming towards the end of the attraction. I saw the Hula Dancers and I was preparing to get off the boat, but I noticed a mother and a daughter that were sitting in the front row of the boat. And as soon as they saw the Hula Dancers, the mother or the daughter looked and her jaw just dropped. She's went, and then the mother looked at her with pure joy. And I realized they love the Hula Dancers and It's a Small World. So for the first time when I got off the boat, I asked the question, "I noticed that you enjoyed your experience. Tell me about that." And the mother looked at me with an intensity that I had never seen and simply said, "You have to understand, we've been looking forward to this trip our entire lives. I have never been here. And I've been talking about it to my daughter. My daughter is not quite 5 years old. But I've been dreaming about this and sharing this with my daughter. And we've been watching videos and we've been talking about it. And once we were in It's a Small World, I saw the dancers and I remembered them from seeing them in pictures and I realized we had arrived." And in that moment, I realized I can simply provide service, or if I had asked a question or showed any sense of interest, genuine care for those guests, I might have been able to provide a better experience and created a memory with them instead of watching them create one of their own. You know, that's not exclusive to hospitality. And actually, it's not exclusive to a work environment. It's exclusive or inclusive of every interaction we have. You see, if we just engage with others, if we just are part of whatever our passion leads us to, whatever our passion, if we just engage and be a part of something, we get more out of it, and so does the person we're interacting with. You know, we recently received a letter from an employee, a team member that is actually in medical school, and she's working for us on call, but she has been, during COVID, been working in hospitals and been so busy. And the letter basically said to us, I use all the skills that I learned at the Broadmoor in hospitality, and I apply them in the hospital. And I have colleagues asking me, how did you solve that problem? Or how did you engage with that patient? Or how did you assist that family? And she equates it all back to the experience that we have had here at the Broadmoor. You see, the things that we talk about aren't exclusive to us. They're human skills, they're human life skills. So that's what I'd like to talk to you a little bit about now. When we talk about the experience that we have, I want you to think about how you interact with others. In hospitality, we call them the standards of exceptional service. But really, they're the exceptions to human kindness, and they're how we interact. So if we are communicating with someone, it's important that we are well-spoken, that we don't speak in using slang, or we don't speak in altered sentences. Imagine if you approached the Broadmoor and you were greeted at the front door with someone saying, hey dude, what's up? Would that match with the pictures that you saw? Would that make you feel welcome when you arrived? In any business conversation, is it appropriate to say, hey dude, what's up? No. You say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how are you? You engage in conversation so that we can connect with the guests and make them feel at ease. The same thing happens over the telephone. When we speak with someone on the telephone, we make sure that we are clear when we speak, that we use full sentences, that we're engaging, that they can hear the smile in our voice. Those aren't hospitality skills, those are people skills. We make sure that when we interact with others, that we're listening. And I mean actively listening. We're listening to learn, not listening to hear. In many roles that we play, we talk about the sequence of service that we need. Let's go back to the reference that I had said about working in a bank. In order to make a deposit or make a withdrawal, you have to provide certain information so that the bank teller can assist you. They have a sequence of service that they must follow. But have you ever worked with a bank where you truly felt that you were a valued customer? And that's because when you arrive to do your business, they welcome you. They may use your name. They engage with you as a person, not as an account number, not as a dollar amount. As your interaction is happening, they're listening for the things that you say so that they can make that interaction more personal. That's literally what luxury hospitality is about. It's about honing the communication skills, about listening to learn something about that person or learn something about the transaction or the interaction so that we can ensure that the needs of that customer, guest, colleague are met. We don't just pay attention to the little things that we need. We engage in all the things that make that guest unique. When we listen to hear, that's about us. When we listen to learn, that's about the guest. And when we listen to learn, we pick up on what we in the hospitality industry call the golden nuggets about someone. They're the little pieces of information that help us to personalize an interaction and also help us to anticipate the needs of a guest. And we can pick up those golden nuggets, whether it be by asking questions, hearing what they see, or visually seeing something about a guest. If someone arrives and they're wearing a a baseball hat that is from Chicago, we can ask a question directed about the hat because it ties it directly to that person. You see, we're looking for opportunities to intentionally make connections. And there's two words that I want you to think about that apply to hospitality and apply to life. And it's being intentional, and it's being proactive. When we intentionally reach out to engage with others, it allows us to provide personalized service. We intentionally look for opportunities to make the connections, whether it be our colleague that works in the hospital and connecting with families or patients, or whether it be connecting with a client or connecting with a guest. It certainly makes that opportunity more personal. When we think about the little things that we can do to make someone's life easier, I always like to talk about luxury and how in the world of luxury, we think for our guests. Luxury ends when the guest has to think. So if we can think for the guest by learning something about them or noticing something about them, then we literally can anticipate what they need, and their stay is that much more memorable. But isn't that the case in any interaction? When we actively listen, when we speak in a professional manner, when we engage in collecting those golden nuggets, that's how we create connections. And the majority, literally the majority of our leisure guests are repeat. They come back year over year, and I meet them on airplanes as I fly. I meet them in the lobby. I meet them through letters we receive. They come back, yes, for the environment, but more for the people. You see, hospitality isn't hard. It's simple human kindness. Would you like to add anything?
I honestly, I think that you hit everything perfectly. I think one thing that I've noticed too is the guests who come back, they remember who helped them. They remember, the employees' names, the team members' names who assisted them. I think back to my first time at the Broadmoor, which was just over a year ago. And to this day, it's been over a year, and I still remember a gentleman named Kester helping me to my room. And I remember the smile on his face. And what was so just amazing and admirable to me is I could tell he was genuine. It was coming from his heart. It wasn't just a script, as you were talking about at Disney World. That is one thing about people here, is that everyone is genuine. We don't speak from scripts. It's who we are. And that's why, one of the reasons why I feel that the Broadmoor, it's such a special place. And I remember when I came here and I, was speaking with Kester, I walked away just amazed and quite frankly, blown away, because I thought, and I wasn't even an employee here at the Broadmoor yet, but I just remember how it made me feel and just the entire experience. And I thought, wow, I would be so honored to be able to join such a special, wonderful place, because really it's amazing. It really is.
And I think you've heard from us, but let you hear from some of our team members as well.
I'm Scott Metz. I'm the assistant golf course superintendent for the East Course. The property is quite large. We have 3 golf courses, 2 18-hole golf courses at the moment, the West and the East. They are operated by 1 director of golf and then 3 managers that help with the daily tasks and jobs on the golf course. The difference between a normal golf course and the Broadmoor golf course would be the attention to detail, especially with the way we manicure our grass and the way we take care of everything out here. We maintain things to a higher level, better than any other golf courses, because of the teamwork, the attention to detail, the coming together of team members to create a product that's better and above all else. And our teamwork helps us to not miss a beat. We're able to cover everything. We're always trying to help each other out because we know that one person on a team cannot accomplish something without their teammates. And that's how we kind of work around here.
Good morning, Nicola.
Morning, Tiffany.
I have an order ready for you. Miss Middleton is ordering a fruit plate and a salmon plate. It's due in about 10 minutes. but it's all set up for you, ready to go.
Perfect.
All you have to do is deliver it.
Anything else I need to know before I go?
No, tonight went really well, so you should have a good shift.
Okay, thank you very much, Tiffany.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
So in the Broadmoor, there are 3 shift changes. You have your first shift, your second shift, and your third shift. They all start at different various times to be able to keep the hotel open 24/7 and running smoothly. Because ultimately, we're here to set up everyone for success, not just ourselves, but also the guests. The guests are so important because, well, without the guests, we wouldn't have a job and we wouldn't be here. They are the reason that we all have the opportunity to work at the Broadmoor. They're also the reason we have such high standards, because they expect such high standards from us all the time. And it's good training for us as well. No matter who the guest is, everybody has the same standard of service. Also, guests are so important because we get a lot of repeat guests. We don't want to let them down. We don't want them to have an amazing experience one year and then come back and be like, I didn't enjoy that. I'm going to go stay somewhere else.
Everything we do in the culinary program at the Broadmoor is somehow related to creating a better guest experience. We go to great lengths to source ingredients both locally and internationally. We go so far as to even have our own farm here on property. At Broadmoor Farms, we have greenhouses as well as outdoor beds where we can grow vegetables and fruits year-round to use in our restaurants as well as our banquet operations. We also raise our own Wagyu beef to use at the Broadmoor, exclusively in our culinary program. We have a herd of cattle up at Eagle's Nest Ranch, about 36 heads of cattle. It's the most genetically pure herd of Wagyu in the country. We use those cattle in a variety of ways around property. We serve prime steaks at Ristorante del Lago as well as La Taverne. We serve Wagyu burgers, braised cuts of meats at the Golf Club Grill, as well as the Golden Bee. All of these programs, our beehives, Wagyu beef, Broadmoor Farms, all contribute to making the culinary program at the Broadmoor unique. Those aspects make us the premier resort in the country.
To me, what makes the Broadmoor special are the people. Today, we employ over 2,800 employees across our resort. And when we speak of the Broadmoor, we not only speak of this wonderful, historic, iconic property built in 1918, but also Cloud Camp, the ranch at Emerald Valley, the fly fishing camp, Seven Falls, the Soaring Adventure, and the Pikes Peak Cobb Railway. To me, what makes the Broadmoor special are our people. The individuals that take care of our guests and members each and every day are truly the heartbeat of what makes the Broadmoor what it is today. What makes up a guest experience is an extraordinary number of small details that go into each resort experience for a guest in an overnight stay. And each and every one of us has the responsibility to make sure a guest visit goes well. When you're thinking of coming to a 5-star, 5-diamond resort, the word that you never want to hear is no. It's our responsibility to ensure we don't use it. Congratulations on joining the Broadmoor family and becoming part of the most unique resort in the world.
So the last person was our president. And we would like to just share with you how you could become a member of our team, whether it be long-term or it be a step in your career of building your skills and honing your tools so that you can be successful in whatever venue you choose. But being a part of the Broadmoor team is something that we would love to have you join. So Bridget is going to share with you a little bit about how to apply.
Yes, so what I have here, I just wanted to give you an overview of how to go about searching for open positions here at the property. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video and speak while the video is going. So I'll have on the next slide our website, our careers website, but it's very, very simple. So if you go to broadmoor.com/careers, you'll scroll down about halfway and you'll click on learn more under job listings. And here's where all of our positions, our open positions are posted. So what I did here is I typed in wilderness, just the keyword, and all of the positions located at the wilderness property or having some, what's the word I'm looking for?
Some aspect of
Some
our
aspect,
wilderness, some
yes.
aspect of our wilderness experience.
Thank you. Will come up with that keyword. Same here, barista. What you'll do is you'll go and you'll click apply now at the bottom of the job posting, and you'll create an account. And once you sign in, you'll be able to review the job application and submit your resume and submit the application for consideration with one of our managers here on property. So as Stacy mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, there is something for everyone here at the property. We are not a typical hotel. We have a variety of positions available for people of all interests, okay? So if you're interested in food and beverage, we have front of house positions such as a host or hostess, a barista, a server, but we also have more back of house positions. If you're interested in being a cook, we have, a great culinary department. We also have food runners, bussers, housekeeping team. If you're interested in more of a seasonal position with our wilderness properties, our wilderness properties are looking to open here in the coming weeks. And so, we are actively hiring for those positions, and the majority of those positions are seasonal. But with that too, don't be scared of a seasonal position, because there's always opportunities to transfer into, a seasonal position for the winter months, or even a full-time or a part-time position. So,
Or an on-call position.
Or on call.
Many of our
Yes.
seasonal team members will leave for the season, but they'll stay on call and they'll come back and work with us. I was just talking to our wilderness team, and they're looking at, rangers that a ranger at Cloud Camp would be involved in a little bit of everything,
Yes.
whether it be disc golf, yoga, being comfortable in the outdoors, but it could also be inside working with activities in the hotel or serving. So there's all sorts of opportunities, and we want to open it up for questions. But I also want to show you, and we'll send some additional information out to all of you, and we appreciate your time today. But this is Bridget's contact information directly. And if there's any questions that you have, we'll be sending out information with both of our contact information. But we would love to talk to you about how we can help you. We both have a passion for helping people achieve their goals, whether they're within the hospitality industry or not. But you can gain skills here that will lend to life success and career success, whether it be with us in hospitality or moving forward.
Absolutely.
And that said, we would love to open it up to any questions that you may have. We've talked quite a bit.